Hello, Dennis Gack once again of the National Brotherhood of Fathers' Rights. This video is about legal logistics, the logistics of actually representing yourself and what's involved with it. Firstly, you need to gain information, as I've said before, with the Fathers' Rights Protection System or other resources out on the internet, maybe using the mirroring principle, copying other successful documents, those sorts of things. Then you need to be organized. What I mean by organized is put down into writing everything that you want, why you want it, and why it's best for everybody concerned. But there are other logistics involved as well. You need to have a file cabinet. You need to keep a conformed copy of your entire case file. What does a conformed copy mean? It means you need to have a filing cabinet, and everything needs to be easily resourced from the most recent down to the least recent. That's the way the court files things. Oftentimes they'll even have a kind of a sub number. So when you file document number 1 at the courthouse, it's labeled in the lower left hand corner 1 with a black magic marker. Second one, 2. Third one, 3. And you'll have the most recent number up on top. So that's called a conformed case file. You need to have a copy of that. Don't trust your attorney to have it. You need to have everything yourself. That's what it means to be involved in your case. So if you're well organized, you can put your fingers on every letter, every document, every motion, everything that's been filed in your case. Occasionally, if you've got a long case, it's gone on several months or a year or 2, 3 even, go to the courthouse and actually check the physical file the courthouse has versus what you have. Now, why would you do that? First of all, make sure it matches up, but even more importantly, sometimes attorneys play shenanigans, or opposing side, the ex, plays shenanigans. They'll try to exchange documents, okay, at the courthouse. They'll check out a physical copy of the file, maybe change what's there. You never know. That's not so much as prevalent today as it was a number of years ago, but still it's something to be concerned about. So again, you've got your own file cabinet, you've got your own conformed case file. Now, logistics of documents. As I mentioned in previous videos, you can go to the courthouse and you can, or you actually, I should say, you can go online and obtain free court forms. Okay, now those court forms are going to come in pretty rough format, PDF or Word format. They don't have pleading lines on the left-hand side with numbers if that's required in your state. The left-hand side is not paginated, so it's nice and clean and crisp. How your document looks is very important. That's just not in legal work, it's in any kind of documentation. So make it aesthetically pretty. Make it aesthetically decent looking, easy for the court to read. Make sure the left-hand margin lines up. Make sure the right-hand margin lines up. Make sure that everything is crisp and clean and it's printed out correctly. This makes a difference. Make sure it's easy to read. Most often, states will require that pleading work is double spaced. So if you're going to write a personal declaration or a motion, they like when it's double spaced so it's easier to read. Maybe they can write notes in the margins or whatever. That's not in every state and every jurisdiction, but in a lot of them, it looks crisper, cleaner, more easy to read, and therefore your odds go up of getting what you want. Now, the logistics of filing paperwork. Okay, going to the courthouse, generally speaking, you need more than one copy of the form. So you have your original, make sure you sign it and date it. You'd be surprised how many people file documents unsigned. They kicked right out or they're thrown in the wrong file. Okay, so make sure that everything is signed appropriately. Make sure every document is stapled together separately. In other words, you may have a parenting plan, a motion, a petition, a summons, and all this stuff all in one pile. You can't staple the whole pile together. You staple each document together separately. That becomes your one set of pleadings. Okay, now once it's signed, that's your original. All of those need to be duplicated, most often 3 and 4 times, because one copy, the original, usually goes to the main clerk of court at the courthouse. Another copy gets served on the opposing side by a sheriff or a service processing company. You cannot serve the opposing side directly, the ex that is, although you can oftentimes serve the attorney if he'll accept service. A third copy usually goes to, called a working copy, goes to the individual judge at the individual courtroom where the case is being heard. That's called a working copy. And a fourth copy is for you. Also, there are additional copies required for amicus curiae or other people involved in the case, like a guardian ad litem, other evaluators, who knows, there could be several people involved in a case, but they all need copies. So if I or someone else were to tell you, go file a motion or go file a document, copy to the main clerk of court, copy to the opposing side, copy to the individual judge at the courtroom hearing the case, a copy for you, a copy for the guardian ad litem, a copy for an evaluator, whoever's involved in the case. That's the logistics of getting things done and paperwork filed. Now, the next topic, and all that's outlined, by the way, in my book, The Father's Rights Protection System, the exact step-by-step. Look, I wrote 1,000 pages of material in that book. 200 is printed in very small font. Another 850 pages is in CD-ROM, so I can't possibly cover every aspect of every detail of the logistics of these things in a short video like this. This is just to trigger you and give you an idea about what you may need to do, and that the fact that you do need more information. That's where my Father's Rights Protection System comes in. It's a track to run on. So now when you go to the courthouse, if obviously you're a father going into the courthouse, don't expect it to be user-friendly for you. It's user-friendly for women, typically not for fathers. If you go in, very often they won't give you information. They won't even tell you where the bathroom is most of the times. They'll call it legal advice. Sorry, sir, we can't give you legal advice. You need to consult an attorney. That's what they're told to say. That's what they're conditioned to say. The secret here is to schmooze them. Put on your best charm. Get to know some of the clerks. If they see you down there often enough, they get to know you and they like you and they'll help you out. They'll even say things like, well, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but you go to room 305 and you file, this is how you do it. You'll get that kind of information from them, sometimes not. So a lot of the information, the logistics are available in my system or they're available online. Again, you Google your court forms, and often not only are the forms there, but there's instructions with them. So those are some of the logistics of getting things done. Again, on this page, in the green box right at the bottom of this video, you can click and get more information about the Father's Rights Protection System and additional ways to protect your rights. See you on the next page.